So I was actually watching Destiny's interview on the Iced Coffee Hour, I believe it's called, with Stephen Graham. And he did this thing where he ranked political figures, commentators. There was a couple politicians, Donald Trump and Biden were in there, but he ranked them on a tier list. And I thought that was an interesting concept. So I pulled one up, added a couple people in, and I thought, why not try it myself? Now, I will say, full disclosure, there were some people on this I didn't know. So I had to create my own row of I don't know for all of these people. This lady's vaguely familiar. These two are kind of familiar, but I don't know their names or enough about them to really say anything. If there's anyone on this I don't knows that you think is worth checking out, let me know in the comments for sure. But we're going to jump into this and rank some political figures and get through it as fast as we can. So let's see. The first one is Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk. I really like Kyle. I think he's pretty based. I like that he's like progressive enough, but still like lip-pilled, that he's not like a tanky. He believes in democracy. He knows how to work within the framework of our government while still wanting to chase rather progressive beliefs. And he's usually pretty sound in the way he covers things and uses facts. I'll give him a B. You know, he's a rather entertaining dude as well. I will say it's kind of hilarious that he'll just casually hit his vape in videos. I've always thought that was funny. Emma Vigeland, I love Majority Report. I'm going to put her as an A. I think that she's a really good personality. Again, Majority Report, I think, is one of the best shows in terms of covering news, politics, just current events of all kinds. I love their interviews. I try to base my show off of them. And I think Emma is a really good addition to the show. The only discouraging thing I've ever heard her say was when she did the panel with Destiny, actually, I think, she said something about how political commentators aren't important. And I thought that was kind of weird because I do think that we are a really good like foot in the door to politics of some people, and downplaying that I don't necessarily agree with, but to each their own. Destiny, the man who influenced me doing this video, I really like how based in facts Destiny is. I will say he pisses me off a lot because he's not as left as I would like him to be, but you can't really knock him a lot because he comes to very logical conclusions of a lot of the things he says, but then sometimes he will get very tunnel vision with some things, and I don't think he'll really take the full compass of what's happening or just what it is, like with the Israel-Palestine stuff. Like he's so just based in like statistics, facts, like this, that he's not really taking in all the context that goes with it or anything like that. But other than that, I think that he is like really good for anyone who wants to like learn politics and be sure that they're going to be brought to factually based conclusions. I'll put him as C because, again, he's a moderate and, you know, I'm a progressive, so I am to the left of Destiny. Dennis Prager, F, dog shit videos, dog shit opinions, spreads misinformation, terrible person. I don't even know how he got a platform because he also has no charisma, no personality at all. I don't know why people watch him. He's the most milquetoast dude I've ever seen in my life. Michael Brooks, rest in peace, man. S tier, again, Majority Report, legendary show. Crystal Ball. I like Crystal. I don't know a lot of her opinions, to be real. I don't watch Breaking Points too much, but the points, like the segments that I have watched, she's usually on point. I like that she's really good on camera. She's really good at making her points, and she always destroys Sager, who is next on this list. So I'll put her at B. I'm going to put Sager at D because he is entertaining. He's not as gone as a lot of right-wingers are, but he does have some really bad opinions, especially on immigration. Before Crystal and Sager's argument on immigration, I might have put him in a C, but with how bad his opinions were on immigration, I don't think I can put him any higher than a C and have good conscience. Charlie Kirk, absolute loser, F tier. I mean, he's losing relevance. His opinions are bad. He just kind of tries to soak in the right-wing hatred spear and use that to stay relevant. Like, oh, okay, right now the controversial thing is trans rights. I'm going to be a transphobe. Right now the controversial thing is race relations. Okay, I'm going to be racist. You know, it's gay rights. I'm going to be a homophobe. Like and he just tries to play to whatever that controversy is to stay relevant. And it's annoying and it's low IQ. And he's also a complete loser. So he's like the sixth string quarterback of the people doing that. Anyway, Jesse Lee Peterson, also F tier. I mean, terrible opinions, but the amazing. He's kind of entertaining, I guess. Terrible opinions, entertaining enough that I'll put him in D tier. Though personally, I don't think I would ever watch him. But when I watch some interviews of like left wing people who go and do it with him. But in terms of like just watching him to watch him, he's not like entertaining enough for that because his opinions are terrible. But in the realm of like watching him get dunked on by left wingers, kind of entertaining, entertaining enough to be a D tier instead of an F, a D minus. That's what we'll put him. He's D minus. David Pakman, I really like David Pakman, and there are some parts of the way he presents himself that I also try to model my show after. I do think he's pretty based in reality. I like how he also kind of like Destiny comes to factual conclusions for a lot of the things that he says or does. I don't like how moderate he is, though. I am probably way to the left of David Pakman. I've heard him talk kind of on like taxes and stuff. I know I disagree with him there. I know that he still considers himself a capitalist. So I probably like would be to the left of him on things like housing and some sorts like that. I also don't like how much he's gone silent on talking about Israel-Palestine since it came to like the forefront. I believe anyone, Emma Vigilant actually is the one that said this. So not to take her quote, but I think that anyone who is a progressive or is on the left should be speaking out about what is a clear genocide at this point. But other than that, rather solid commentator. I'll put him in C with Destiny. I'd put him like above C in Destiny. I think this is Nick Fuentes. Sorry if it's not, but like when I looked at it, I thought it was Nick Fuentes. So that's who I'm ranking this as. Sorry if it's not, but F tier. Absolute terrible person. I don't think anything else needs to be said about him. Sam Seder. Probably my favorite political commentator. Honestly, I don't think anyone does it better than Sam Seder. He has like the best mix of personality. He comes to logical, factual conclusions. He's open to being talked to and listening to people from like differing opinions. I like where he debates his callers. I like the interviews he does from all kinds of broad spectrums. If you could see by the Majority Report with Sam Seder and Social Society with Brandon Clark, he was definitely my biggest influence in terms of starting my own show and who I try to model my show after. I try to do interviews. I try to touch on different things. I don't want to just be like, and this isn't a knock on like David Pakman, but for instance, like David Pakman right now is really stuck kind of in the like election cycle stuff. Like right now we have to go at Trump, and that's completely fine because I think a lot is on the line in terms of losing to Trump. But then if you go to like Majority Report, they're like all over the Gaza situation. They're all over like police and justice. They're doing this interview. And it's like you get a much more of a grasp of like everything that's going on. And that's kind of what I try to model my channel after. So definitely S tier to me. Hasan Piker. I really like Hasan Piker as a personality. I will say I don't really go to him for like political things. So I guess if I'm ranking him on the political spirit, I would maybe put him in a C, but like personality, I would put him in a B. I like that he's also very willing to stand on the things he believes are right and defend oppressed groups of people, oppressed minorities, and he stands for all the things that I believe. I just like, he's not necessarily who I go to for political opinions because he's live. Like in the same vein as like, I don't really watch Destiny. I know Vosh is on here. I watch them like on YouTube. I'll watch like the recycled clips of some of the things they say on YouTube, and they all give their opinions live and they're like recounting the things live. And I rather listen to people who are like going in, taking in all these sources. They're like scripting the video. They're knowing the points they want to make. I just feel like it's a lot more concrete to grasp information. So while I don't watch him a lot for politics, in terms of personality, I do think he's one of the best. Ben Shapiro, like Destiny, comes to very logical conclusions. I will say that I like that about him, but every opinion that he's ever had is terrible. So I can't in good vein put him higher than D. But I will say I think he acts more so in good faith than most people on the right. He just has really terrible opinions, which some people will, I guess. Cenk. I like Cenk personality-wise. I do think he misses a lot. Like he the passion is there, the fire's there, but he misses sometimes. I think that at this point, him staying in the presidential race is nonsensical. I think some of the points he's made about being in the presidential race are nonsensical. Sometimes he's a little more moderate than I would like him to be when presenting as like super progressive, but those are just personal things. And personality-wise, A or S. To be real, watching him scream at Zionists is pretty entertaining. But I don't really watch the Young Turks a lot. Candace Owens, I guess I'll put her in D tier with Ben Shapiro. Also, really bad opinions, but I also believe she acts more so in good faith. Less so than Ben Shapiro, but more so in good faith than someone like Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles. Like, she tries to be somewhat based in reality. It's just, she's also never going to say something that's against party lines, but she will go against people that's within her party if they're like being crazy. I know she had a little spat with the other Daily Wire members, but she would never be like Republican bad, I don't think, personally. Luke Beasley, I'm going to put him in the same tier as David Pakman. I see them kind of as one and the same. They're both like moderate liberals. They do the job pretty well. I think Luke Beasley has a nice show. I like where he goes and he does the more the interviews with Trump supporters and all of that. That kind of stuff is interesting. So I'll boost him where he's up here at least. Him and David Pakman, I put them one and the same for sure. Matt Walsh, the 5th string quarterback at Daily Wire, is definitely an F. Terrible person. I think it's funny that there's 2 things he definitely hates, and that's black people and women. And Candace Owens is more successful than he'll ever be while also being on the same platform as him. That has to be something that keeps him up at night. But just like Charlie Kirk, I mean, most of his career is based around hating on transgender people. And it's like, can anyone tell me one issue he's talked about more than LGBTQ issues? And it's just like, I don't know. And he doesn't come from any intelligent or substantive positions. Blair Woods, I kind of know her. I don't really. She is like kind of in the center, I think, to my knowledge. Like I said, I don't really watch her a lot. I don't like how she doesn't really defend like transgenders or anything. She'll like talk to conservatives and let them shit on the LGBTQ community when she's part of it. I think that's kind of weird. So I'll keep her in the D, but again, I don't know a whole lot about her. Dave Rubin, don't know a lot about Dave Rubin. He could probably go in the I don't know tier. I know that he was on the left and then kind of got like persuaded over by the money to the right. So for that, I'm gonna put him in D. Well, I'll put him in F actually, because that's just dirty. Steven Crowder, you can join Dave Rubin in the F. Terrible person, on camera being very mean to his wife, and that's charitable. That is a charitable description. It's a horrible video to watch. He is a horrible person, terrible opinions. He's done multiple racist things. He has sexual harassment allegations at his workplace. He's just all around a terrible individual that also has terrible politics. Vosh, I think Vosh is really good for his understanding of like sociology or like interpersonal relationships or why people might act a certain way in society. He's definitely spot on about like gender stuff, things like that. But then he also like has some really crazy takes. I do think he has to stick to the radical moniker a little bit. You know, that's how he gets his bread and butter. But on like an interpersonal, like societal level, I agree with most things Vosh says. I know there's like the controversy about him now. I don't really know like what any of that is. So I'm not like including any of that into my rankings. I just know something's going around or whatever. But just in terms of like straight as a creator, I would probably have him in B. I like listening to him talk about social things like societal issues. Joe Biden, a lot of good policies passed. I like the bipartisan gun bill. I like the infrastructure bill. I like the American Rescue Plan. He legislatively has been very effective. He's keeping our economy afloat. Things I don't like about him, though, I think could pile up to almost match the things I do like about him, to where he's not called for a ceasefire in Gaza. He ran on a public option. He hasn't even tried to push a public option. The means testing student debt, a lot like the Willows project, a lot of the environmental stuff that he's allowed to go through, the fact that he's drilled more oil than Donald Trump did. There's a lot of things that I can knock him for, but legislatively, he's been a very effective president. He has all the signs economically to where if we weren't in the current situation we were in, he could almost definitely be reelected. But the fact that, one, he was handed the economy directly after a recession, and then two, Donald Trump is like a polarizing, practically incumbent, and yada, yada, yada. It's going to be close, and I personally wish that it was somebody else than Joe Biden, but I personally don't have a problem with it being him if it has to be. Alex Jones, F. Terrible, like the Sandy Hook stuff, all the misinformation he spreads. Terrible list. I don't know. I mean, terrible commentator. I don't know what else you want me to say about him. He just yells over people in debates. He doesn't let points get made. I've never heard a sensible thing come out of his mouth. Well, there's one, I guess. When he tried to pull back the reins on Kanye from being from clearly being anti-Semitic, that was right of him. That's the one good thing I can knock him on. But it's not going to put him up to D. That's for sure. Ana Kasparian, I really like Ana. I think she has like a very fiery political personality. I like the way she makes her points. I think it's very aggressive and kind of what is needed in the Democratic Party. She's a little more factually sound. I had the letters mixed around. She's a little more factually sound than Cenk is. So I'll put her a tier above him. There's only been like one time I disagreed with her. I don't remember exactly what it was, but even when I said it, like she is almost all the time like right on about most issues, and she's very supportive of like anything progressive. So I don't think it's worth giving her the kind of like hate that she gets a lot of the times for like people try to like hyper fixate on little things. And I don't know. I think sometimes people are just scared of high IQ women in politics. Donald Trump, F. I might put him in D because he's very easy to make content off of. You know, some of my more popular videos have been slam dunking on Donald Trump. So thank you for that. But as a president, F, absolutely disqualifying. And actually, he tried to overthrow democracy and should rot in jail. So I'm going to put him in F. He deserves to go in F. Jimmy Dore, never heard a good opinion come out of his mouth. He tries to like play the middle. I don't even know if he considers himself a liberal or something like that. Like he really, really just a dumb individual. And then Kyle Kulinski again. All right, this Kyle Kulinski is better than, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't know there was two Kyle Kulinskis. But yeah, so here's my list. I guess let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I guess you could see what my favorite show is for sure. But I appreciate you guys watching me do this, and until next time.